Good morning. Welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Monday, July 27th, 2020. This is your host, Dan Russo, the Chief Market Strategist at Chaikin Analytics. Find me on Twitter at DanRusso_CMT. Stock Market Today brought to you today and every day by Chaikin Analytics. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today. Sign up for a free email where I get a lot of the great content for this show. Also give you daily stock ideas to consider that hits your inbox every trading day before the market opens. So U.S. equities were lower in Friday's trading. Healthcare trailed the market with biotech weakness. First time we've said that in a while. Tech also underperformed again as this growth value rotation continues to play out. Stretched valuations, crowded positioning. We've talked about it, right? We've talked about the extension of growth over value, how it needed to kind of stabilize, if you will. Also have some very elevated earnings expectations in the growth space. And now we have a lot of the big monsters reporting this week. We're going to hear from Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Google. And so we'll see what that does for the tech/growth versus value trade. Treasuries were mixed with the curve flattening. The dollar was down on the major crosses, in particular against the yen. Gold finished up 0.5%. Crude oil finished up 40 basis points. At the sector level, discretionary comm services and staples led, while tech, healthcare, and industrials underperformed. Now, as we get to the desk this morning, futures are up 50 basis points to kick off a new week. Asian equities were mixed overnight. Taiwan rallied to a record high. Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, ripping topside. Largely a catch-up, my guess, after the Intel. There's no way to sugarcoat it. The Intel debacle on Friday. European markets are mostly weaker in the near term, trading this morning. Some commentary out of the UK as it relates to people returning from Spain, having to quarantine. So COVID-19, coronavirus, still very much top of mind. Treasuries are bid with the curve flattening. The dollar is weaker again on the major crosses, hitting its lowest level since September of 18 overnight. Gold is up another 2%. Not much more to say there. WTI crude down 30 basis points to kick us off on a Monday morning, where the false breakout is still a concern right now. Right? We've talked about this level, 32.50. Breakout, couldn't hold it, dropped down, closed below the breakout level. That sets up the potential for a false breakout here. Add to that the fact that we're closer to overbought than we are to oversold. Chaikin money flow and this indicator both diverging. We have resistance just overhead, 3,300 to 3,400. I think you could see some near-term choppiness. Near-term choppiness doesn't change the structure of this uptrend. Doesn't change our view. It changes where do you want to be aggressive. I'd rather be aggressive down here at 3,100 than up here with a false breakout. And I'm happy to be proved wrong. And a break back above, then you have a momentum trade, right? The conversations, these are kind of, this is the thought process that goes through my mind. If we get to 3,100, what am I doing? If that's wrong, if we break back through 3,250, what am I doing? If 3,000 breaks to the downside, what am I doing? I hope that all of you are having that conversation. You have your setups, you have your themes. We've talked about inflation rising for the past few weeks on this show. Plenty of opportunity to be positioned in areas like materials, in the precious metals, certainly, commodities in general, right? It's been weeks we've been talking about that, right? So if you've been running through if you're waking up this morning and seeing gold and silver at near-term records and you're saying, oh my gosh, I have to buy gold and silver, I would say that's too reactionary. You weren't walking through the game plan in your head. The game plan was there for the taking as it relates to precious metals. Let's talk about our market in a minute. SPY is overbought. Q is oversold after the rotation, right? We've seen this rotation out of growth and into the more value areas of the market that's led to an oversold condition on the Qs. Now, remember, I like the Qs. So I would love to see some near-term consolidation on the SPY that sets up the Qs with some oversold stocks as it is oversold itself. to then get us back to the theme of growth over value, because I don't think we're going to see a reversal of that theme. I've talked about this. I've talked about there's no growth, folks. The Fed has told you there isn't any growth. They're going to keep rates capped until at least the end of 2022. Look at treasuries. They remain bid. Where is the growth? The 10-year yield back below 60 basis points. Where's the growth? It's not there. Growth to value got stretched. Now you have the Qs coming into an oversold position. You should know what you're doing. You should be set up for this scenario. You have a watch list of growth stocks? We've put one out there. I think this is how you have to be thinking about it. I think that trend is going to reassert growth over value. Commodities continue to grind higher as the dollar accelerates to the downside. That's your inflation trade. Futures point to a mixed open this morning. They were lower when I put this together, higher now. Taking a look at the major indices from a power bar perspective, the Dow down 70 basis points on Friday, 8-4 bulls to bears there. S&P 500 down 66 basis points, 151 to 80, so still solidly in favor of the bulls. NASDAQ, same story after losing 1%, 39 to 7. Small caps, a little bit of deterioration there, but still solidly in favor of the bulls. Small caps underperformed yesterday. According to the Chaikin Power Bar, small cap stocks and large cap stocks are bullish. Major indexes are mixed. Let's hit our stock of the day now. Speaking of looking for growth ideas, Meridian Biosciences looks like it wants to set up. VEVO in the healthcare equipment space. Go back to the show last week on Tuesday where we talked about healthcare holding relative support. Bullish stock, bullish trend, strong trend above the trend line, strong industry group, healthcare equipment. Overbought, oversold indicator. Oversold. Now still heading lower. Okay. Outperforming the market, bullish money flow, triggered an oversold buy signal today. If I'm thinking about the potential rotation back into growth stocks, I have to be thinking about a name like Meridian. That's well set up here. You can see breakout. Now we're consolidating. You can draw, you can manage risk for your time frame and your process, however you do that, whether it's with technical levels, whether it's with average true range and volatility based stops. But I think that this is the type of name you want to start looking at. Go back a couple of Thursdays ago to the show that I did where I gave you a screen of growth stocks. Check out some of those names. Now that the Qs are oversold, there could be some compelling opportunities there. Go back and check them out. Take a look at VEVO, VIVO as a potentially bullish idea. Let's look at our sector tracker now. Movement of the major sectors over the last 5 days. Energy, fins, and discretionary, top of the list, along with staples. Materials, utes, industrials, and REITs, middle of the road. Healthcare, comms, and tech, bottom of the list. I think we're going to see a reassertion. Okay, the rotation is playing out. I don't think it's real. There is no growth. I do think, however, there is inflation, which is why we've talked about the materials. Right? Of the cyclical sectors, materials are the ones that I like the best. Or is the one that I like the best? We've talked about names like Freeport-McMoRan. We've talked about names like Agnico Eagle and Newmont Mining. Right? We've talked about all these names in our notes to clients. Those are plays on inflation picking up. We've been talking about it. The setups have been there. Our industry in focus, telecom services. Past 6 months, XTL has outperformed the S&P 500 by 7%. This is kind of a sleeper. It's been under the radar for me. I haven't really, I've called out Sienna in the past, one of the bullish stocks here, 12-5 bulls to bears on the power bar ratio, number 10 of 21 subsectors, up 4 slots. Netgear, NTGR, telephone and data, TDS, and Sienna, all with very bullish Chaikin power gauge ratings on this fund that's kind of, sneaky at the top of its range. I haven't really seen it now. A neutral rating, fine. Strong trend above the rising long-term trend line. What I'm interested in is this reemergence or this reassertion of leadership with money flow. Now, solidly overbought here in the near term, but something I want to pay attention to. I probably want to be drilling down on these 12 stocks and seeing if there are any that look compelling, such that when they set up, I'm ready to pull the trigger. Take a look at what's trending now. Friday's movers and shakers. AMD up 16.5%. Big topside breakout, and then a disaster of an announcement from Intel pushing out their 7 nanometer product while AMD already has a 7 nanometer product on the market. If you had short Intel, long AMD as a pair trade on Friday, you can probably bank your year. Nothing short of a disaster, that commentary from Intel, which is why you see Taiwan Semi, I think, trading higher overnight, because one of the other aspects of Intel's print was they said they might start to outsource some of their chip production, which is pretty amazing. You know who produces chips? Taiwan Semi. All right, FE, been on the loser side of the board for quite some time, rebounded. DRI, nothing company specific there. Take that stock up 3.25. Pulte caught an upgrade, up 3.2%. Take two, TTWO, nothing company specific, up 3% on Friday. Loser side of the board again, Intel, right? They announced their earnings, and out their earnings report was okay, but they dropped a bombshell with this 7 nanometer push out and potentially shifting production, going fabless. That'd be pretty impressive, pretty amazing. Intel has always made their own chips. Clack, probably under pressure as a function, right? All of a sudden, if Intel's no longer going to be making their own chips in their fabs, that's one less big player spending money on equipment. Clack down 7.7%. Western Digital down 7%. No real news there. Xerox down 7%. No real news there. And Kohl's down 5.4%. Didn't see anything company specific to drive trading in that stock. Let's take a look at the charts now. Dollar debasement. Further weakness as fiscal and monetary stimulus act in concert to utterly destroy the purchasing power of us, the citizens. That's showing up in weakness in UUP, the dollar bullish index. Now, it is oversold here in the near term. I personally had this one ridiculously wrong. I've talked about it. I thought support would hold at the $26 level. It didn't. It broke down. I got it wrong. Okay, it happens. $26 was my line in the sand. I greatly de-risked the position at that point. Continue to de-risk it to the point where I really don't care what the dollar does right now, other than the fact that I'm long precious metals and growth. And I've been. So while this, it stung to be wrong here, I more than made up for it in other areas. So that's fine. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a near-term bounce here, given the oversold conditions, but this is a clear breakdown with our government basically telling us that they're going to continue to debase the dollar. And that has led to commodity inflation. Here's DBC, the Invesco commodity index, DB commodity index, right? We started talking about it a few weeks ago. Continues to grind higher. Then you have upside potential to at least 1350 here. Then you can reevaluate, right? Especially if the dollar continues to move lower, which, again, it's under pressure this morning. You're seeing gold. You're seeing silver. You're seeing the precious metals break out. Look at the scooter for DBC, right? Just gradually moving higher here. Overbought in the near term, fine, right? I think the next real test is here at 1350. So continued upside for commodities as the dollar moves lower. We've been talking about it, right? We were saying in our notes and on shows, if UUP breaks 26, watch what that does to commodities. It broke. That was your signal. Your signal is not to get long gold and silver today. Your signal was to get long gold and silver on the at least if you're already late to the party on that break. Finally, the Qs get to oversold. And I think we're going to see a reassertion of growth over value. I think you have a clear level to shoot against here with the rising 50-day moving average, the breakout. I think you want to start looking back to growth stocks that are oversold to reassert leadership relative to value. That's going to wrap us up on a Monday. Have a great week, folks. Take us for a test drive. I will be back with you tomorrow.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.